5 years have passed, but he is still in our hearts. A man devoted to one show, The Bad Show. He has not forgotten you, and he is right here in our studio. Give it up for the man with the plan, the one and only Bulgarian wonderful person, Badinfos! Hello audience and welcome to the Bad Show, the show that brings you tears, but not from joy, but from the host's terrible accent. After 5 years guys, 5 years have passed, but don't worry guys, the show is back at full force and I'm gonna show you some very interesting things today, namely the state of San Andreas. San Andreas is a state in the United States of America composed of Los Santos, San Fierro and Las Venturas, in between which you can find a lot of desert and the countryside. Today we will only be focusing on Los Santos and part of the desert. This place is full of all kinds of landscapes, from giant skyscrapers and other really tall buildings to peaceful, calm lakes with dangerous waterfalls, giant mountains, and the desolated desert locations where coyotes and cougars roam free. If you wanna visit this wonderful place, then this is the show for you. While in the previous show I did 5 years ago, I showed all the properties you can buy and have a peaceful life, away from corruption, and I gave you tips about which of your neighbors you should trust and which not to. In tonight's show I'll focus on the business people in the audience. San Andreas is the perfect place where you can start your own business and make a name for yourself. After watching this show, you can start making your millions. There are 16 assets. They are a big investment, which can bring you money back each day they stay active. Apart from that, you can purchase 3 garages where you can park your newly acquired vehicles purchased from your new businesses. A marina is available as well, and let's not forget the whole airfield, the helipad, and the hangar at the main airport in Los Santos. The show today is sponsored by Austin Data, House the Chowder, Max Robinson, Alex Chavez, Quillin, and Christoph. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. What? What do you mean they bought them all? What am I supposed to do here? Shut up. Hey guys, apparently we have a problem. Apparently all the assets were just purchased by 3 individuals. Okay, I guess I'm gonna mention him. The first one is Franklin Clinton, a ghetto boy who used to have a crazy aunt as a roommate and the most hilarious person as a friend. After recent events and controversy surrounding 5 assassinations around town, Franklin has acquired over $2,050 million in his pocket. The other individual being Michael DeSanta, a former family man who supposedly got back into the crime business after being invisible for 10 years. This is all just speculations, of course, nobody knows for sure, but apparently Michael's wife and kids left him recently for unknown reasons. The third person is called Trevor Phillips, and the less we say about Trevor, the better. No, really, Trevor is a cuckoo and I hope he's not watching the show tonight. Well, I guess instead of showing you what you guys can purchase, I'm gonna show you what these 3 individuals have purchased in the last couple hours, and also I'm gonna tell you what you can expect in the following maybe 3 episodes in a certain GTA 5 100% walkthrough on YouTube, which you should check out. The first business we'll take a look at is the towing Impound. It was purchased by Franklin Clinton for $150,000. The Impound is located in the ghetto part of the city, and the person who purchased it must know the area well. Not many people would be willing to invest in a place where the members of both the Ballas and the Vagos sell drugs around each corner. Gang fights happen daily, and supposedly a drug deal recently happened very close by, where 3 unknown people were swindled with, and I quote, drywall instead of blow. I don't know what exactly it means, but all you gotta know is that the towing Impound is located in a dangerous neighborhood. It does not matter that it's positioned right next to the LSPD sheriff station. Judging from the graffiti on the wall, the policemen cannot save themselves, let alone the surrounding buildings. After the acquisition, Mr. Clinton will receive around $500 per towed vehicle he could manage to bring to the Impound. Let's take a break from the city and move on to the outskirts. Here you take a break from the pollution, the gang warfare, the high and dense traffic, and you can visit the solar collection dock. Even if the person who bought it, Michael DeSanta, does not want to turn it into a business, it's a wonderful place for relaxation. On your left, you can see the limitless ocean, stretching for thousands of miles until it reaches Liberty City. On the right we have the huge mountains, perfect for hikes and bike rides. After purchasing the collection dock for $250,000, Mr. DeSanta will be able to get a payment of $23,000 for each collected nuclear waste. Yes, that is the main purpose of the dock. Michael will hop into the mini-sub, collect all 30 wastes, and score even a nice bonus of $250,000, making this the most profitable business out there. Any one of the 3 people mentioned before could have purchased it, but Michael was the first one, and he scored a big paycheck. A side note here, after the acquisition, we have seen a strange woman by the name of Abigail hang around the dock. It's rumored that her husband recently died, and most likely she would send Mr. DeSanta on a mission to collect all 30 pieces of a submarine wreck. We have no confirmation of that, however. Going back to Los Santos, here you'll find Tequila La. This is a restaurant owned by the mob, but it was closed after the Adam's apple in the soup incident in 1982. The bar was reopened in 1983, however, and is home for all kinds of metalheads. On the main floor we can find the bar itself, a small stage on the other side, and of course a dance floor. The second floor is reserved for the VIP guests and of course the DJ. In the basement we can find a game room where you can play pool, cubed and darts, for a small fee of course. All of this is now property of Trevor Phillips for $2 million. It could have been purchased by anybody, not only by Trevor, and now after the Inquisition he will receive a weekly income of $16,500. Mr. Phillips will occasionally have to pick up alcohol for the bar or even defend it from gang attacks. After all, this is Los Santos and gang warfare is rampant. Good luck to Mr. Phillips. In East Vinewood we can find one of the worst taxi firms in the country, coming second after Roman Bellic Enterprises. Speaking from experience, the infamous taxi firm from Liberty City owned by Roman Bellic, with the help of the criminal mastermind Nico Bellic, is heaps worse than what we have here in Los Santos. Hopefully after the acquisition by Franklin Clinton, the firm will be able to get back on its feet after a long mistreatment of its customers. It is well known that the employees are very underpaid, considering how far they usually stop from the customers, forcing them to walk just to get in the cab. But like previously mentioned, hopefully Mr. Clinton will be able to do something about it after the $200,000 investment. He'll get a weekly income of $2,000 and will be able to work part-time for the firm if he needs some extra bit of cash. I don't see why he would. I mean, he's a billionaire, but usually when people get this rich, they always want more. 'Tis the nature of us humans. Are you gay? Viewer, are you gay? Probably not, but I certainly hope that Trevor Phillips is, because he just purchased pictures for $750,000. This is voted the #1 gay bar in Los Santos by the Daily Globe, and that is for good reason. Located in downtown Vinewood, this is a great location for the gay wealthy people in the area. Being in Vinewood, all the customers are loaded, and of course the bar has its fair share of celebrity visits. Whereas places like Hercules and Liberty City saw a fair bit of criticism back in the day, in the modern day and age, gay bars are much more accepted and pictures can now prosper. This is a great time to invest, and this is exactly what Mr. Phillips did. Gay or not, he will receive a weekly income of $7,100. Any of the three businessmen could have bought it. He could lounge and wait for the money to roll in, or instead he could help out by, for instance, bringing alcohol, protecting it from gang attacks, or disposing of paparazzis who harass the VIP guests. Let's move away from the busy Los Santos streets and take a small trip to the west side of the state. Here you'll find incredible views of the vast, seemingly endless ocean, gorgeous eco-trails filled with all kinds of wildlife, such as the cute bunnies, always frightened elk, and let's not forget the bloodthirsty cougars and mountain lions who are starving and will attack you at any moment. Ha 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 ha. Well, here on the Grand Ocean Highway you can find a seafood restaurant called Hookie's. Hookie's is known as a location where bikers can relax and mourn the loss of a former president called Johnny Clavitz. It is rumored that the individual Mr. Phillips has something to do with it, and this is why Trevor cannot purchase this property. The bikers would just not let him. This does not stop Mr. Clinton or Michael DeSanta of doing it, however. Franklin was first to the scene and purchased it for $600,000. So what is Los Santos known for? What is it known for? What is Los Santos known for, guys? Okay, that was a trick question, I guess. Most of you said gangs. Okay, let me rephrase. What is Vinewood known for? Well, hookers, sure, yeah, but what else? What is Vinewood known for? Sports celebrities, yeah, sure, but what else? What else, audience? What is Vinewood known for? Nobody? It's movies, audience. Vinewood is known for its movies. In the heart of Vinewood we'll find 2 movie studios and a theater. This business is only for hardcore moviegoers in the audience, so naturally Mr. DeSanta was the one who purchased them all. Yes, he paid $60 million for a few buildings. What we have is Doppler Cinema. Don't worry, audience, the looks are deceiving. The cinema has fallen on hard times, but this is where many famous movies were made back in the day. We don't actually have a list of them because even Google would not give any results, but just trust us, guys, trust us. This is the real deal. At least Michael thinks that way because he spent $10 million to purchase it and will get back $132,200 a week. The second cinema is called Tivoli. Now this is what we're talking about. Tivoli Cinema actually looks semi-decent, and it better be decent considering the $30 million investment Mr. DeSanta had to make. Sure, the money he will receive a week is $142,300, but this was probably a difficult decision, or probably not. I mean, Michael is crazy about movies and maybe he just bought up everything, resembling a place where movies could be made. The last business Mr. DeSanta purchased is the 10-cent theater for $20 million with a weekly income of $264,000. Now this was a puzzling decision for me and the producers. This place has been mostly abandoned for years. People even avoid standing in front of it, as you'll see in our footage. Not a wise choice for us, but hey, Mr. DeSanta probably has some plans to change up the business model. Both the cinemas and the theater will run themselves, sure, but Mr. DeSanta will occasionally get calls from the manager for odd jobs, which would help with the popularity of the establishments. Do we have any pilots in the audience today, guys? Any pilot, any, no, I guess? Okay, well, I'm gonna show you a very famous pilot, and that, of course, is Trevor Phillips. Many years ago, he tried out to get in the Air Force to fly fighter jets. Unfortunately for him, and very fortunately to all of us, he was rejected because he was mentally unstable by the witch in charge of psychological evaluations, making him ground for life. But as you all know, that did not stop Trevor from piloting a cargo plane a few weeks ago. He loves flying so much that he purchased the Mackenzie Field hangar for $150,000. Unlike many of the other businesses you saw on the show, the airfield will not run itself and does not have a weekly income. Instead, Mr. Phillips will have to do all the jobs, which could potentially earn him money. Why potentially? Well, because there's a very high chance that Trevor could lose his life. These are dangerous tasks, audience. Mr. Phillips will have to participate in arms trafficking and air trafficking if he wants to get his investment back. This includes, of course, using a buggy or a plane and giving his customers what they want. A disclaimer, this show has nothing to do with the hangar. We totally are not the previous owners and totally would advise the police to totally not check out the airfield. It is totally 100% safe. Totally. Moving on. From the sand, dirt, wild coyotes and hillbillies alike, we move into the city where you can find tits, and even more tits. Roman Bellic would be proud. We present to you the Vanilla Unicorn. After the sudden and unexplained disappearance of Leon, the previous owner of the most famous club in the state, Mr. Phillips was kind enough to lend a hand in running the place. You see, deep below the ugly and mental exterior lies a generous man who only wants the best for the working people. The Vanilla Unicorn was a staple of freedom and is a place where the biggest players in town have visited. Thank you, Mr. Phillips, from the bottom of all our hearts for saving the club. We owe you one. Speaking of tits and ass, you know what gets these two things? Cars. The better your car is, the more tits will hop into it. Well, why not purchase a tune shop to help you out in that aspect? That is exactly what Mr. Clinton did. For just $349,000 he purchased Los Santos Customs, located in the Grand Senora Desert. Franklin will get a whopping $1,600 weekly income, but the biggest reward would be the free touring of all vehicles Franklin possesses. And since Mr. Clinton has been seen changing vehicles on average of 5 times a day, we in the studio don't see the establishment surviving for another month. Okay guys, I was saving this for last, but I cannot contain myself any longer. This is a property which only 1% of the people on Earth can afford. 1%. And in this 1% we can find, of course, Michael, Trevor and Franklin, who would be the first person to purchase the Los Santos Golf Club for $150 million. Yes, you heard me right, $150 million. The weekly income being only $264,500. Yeah, at this rate the investment would be paid off in years, after which it may not even be functional. Now tell me how anybody would even fall for that. Certainly there is no future here, and nobody would be dumb enough to fall for this Oh, turns out Mr. Phillips just purchased it? I mean, I'm not surprised he's on the slow side, but really, Trevor? 150 million? And all you get is free games? You don't even play golf? I apologize, audience, for the unprofessionality, but paying $150 million for a golf course seems absurd to me. Well, to each his own, we all wish Mr. Phillips the best of luck. From hitting balls, we avert our eyes to a place which makes vehicles into balls. Not only balls in fact, but into cubes, rectangles, or even just leave them to rust without a care in the world. I present to you the car scrapyard. Close to the industrial area of Los Santos we'll find this dump which smells from a mile away. Anyone could purchase it, but nobody has for years. But guess what? If one is stupid enough to buy a golf course for 150 million, that same person could buy a scrapyard for 275,000. Yes, sure, the owner will receive 150 per destroyed car in San Andreas, but is that worth it? For all we know, Mr. Phillips will start going on rampages in the city, boosting his income. Doomsday is coming, audience, and I feel it. Mr. Phillips seems happy with his investment, and he probably sees himself using the place a lot in the future. Let me ask you again, what is Los Santos known for? Again with the gang answer. No guys, I'm looking for something else. What is Los Santos known for? Try again. No, not the movies. I know, okay, I misled you first. It's not only the movies. I was looking for something else. The beach. The beach, guys, the beach. Los Santos is known for its beach. Vespucci Beach is the #1 biggest and most populated beach in the state. Home for the hottest chicks, the most muscular men, and of course the best legal, remember legal, marijuana retailer in the state. At Smoke in the Water you could buy a bong and literally smoke on the water. This totally 100% totally a legit store will provide you with all your stoner needs. Naturally, Mr. Phillips or Mr. DeSanta want nothing to do with it, so Franklin Clinton purchased it for $204,000, the weekly income being $9,300, but we all know that this is not the reason Mr. Clinton purchased it. He'll now get unlimited weed for life and he looks happier than ever. In closing, we'll finish off with a business not many of you know about, that being the hen house. Yes, it pales in comparison to clubs such as Tequila La and the Vanilla Unicorn, but the hillbillies up in Palito Bay ain't got no money to travel to Los Santos, so they settle for the hen house instead. Even on the cheap side, the hen house is praised for the professionalism, and after the $80,000 investment Mr. Phillips made, he would feel right at home. I mean, he's a cuckoo, so he would feel right at home in the hen house, huh? And looks like these are all the businesses we have, correction, had, before these three individuals purchased them. So I guess this is it for show, but since we have a little bit more time left, why not show you some extra stuff? Since the show is centered around these three characters, I'm gonna show you a few more properties they purchased for themselves, which are not businesses, just random properties they purchased for their personal gain. So let's go! First of all, each person purchased a garage. Here they can store any vehicle they don't want losing. For only $30,000 each one of them has a 4-car storage. Yes, they're nothing great to look at, but hey, they have their uses. Second, we have the Puerta del Sol Marina, where the three gentlemen can store any newly purchased boat and small ships. The place is gorgeous, and it just so happens that 3 slips were available for $75,000, and now Franklin, Trevor and Michael will most likely become captains. Honestly, anything is better than having these 3 people roam around our streets daily. Thirdly, Trevor is the proud owner of the Sandy Shores Airfield, where he can store any helicopter or plane he desires. It became available after a recent culling of the Lost Biker Club in the desert. For unknown reasons, the airfield became available for free of charge, and Trevor stepped up and took it over. Another great deed from Mr. Phillips. See guys, he is not a bad guy after all. Since Franklin and Michael didn't have that luxury, they purchased the Vespucci Helipad for $419,850 each. Yes, weird number we know, and their very own hangar at the Los Santos International Airport for $1,378,600, with the added benefit that if
they go to the airport, the police will no longer chase them. And with this, my audience, our show comes to a close. I hope you enjoyed. The 3 stars on the show spend a total of $280,919,900. The most being spent, of course, by Trevor Phillips, obviously, after purchasing the golf course. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. You'll most likely not see the show for 5 more years, so until then, stay safe.
In closing, the producers told me to sell out to you, and I would gladly do it.
Make sure you check out our YouTube channel, subscribe and click the bell button to activate notifications. Of course, you can support the show by supporting us directly on Patreon, where you can get all sorts of rewards. And who could forget Twitch? The host of this show sometimes streams on Twitch, and you audience can join in on the fun by subscribing there or even donating directly.
Everything I just mentioned supports the show directly, guys, so if you can, please join in, and who knows, maybe with your help in 5 more years there would be more bad shows. So guys, thank you very much for joining me, thank you very much for the support, and I'll see you in the next bad show. Okay Jerry, I'm done. Can I get my pants back now? For fuck's sake, man. Where are my pants at? Asshole!